A very good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on Live at 1. I'm Michael Njenga. We kick off this afternoon's coverage on a sad note where 4 men were buried alive while working in a quarry at Nkianyanga village in Igembe Central, Meru County. Only one person was rescued.
The pain of death and the emptiness it brings forth. It's nightfall, and relatives of 4 men buried alive in Kinyanga village, Igembe Central, Meru County, while harvesting maram, watch in despair as the body of the last victim is dug out from the heap. Monday evening, the personal effects strewn in the cave-like quarry.
Walipokuwa wanachimba ndio mchanga ulikatika kutoka huko juu ukamwagika juu ya lori pamoja na watu wale walikuwa ndani, watu 4 wakakufa.
Help arrived a little bit too late, with only one person being saved from the tragic occurrence, with the body of the last victim being retrieved at around 7:30 p.m. The question of just how safe such quarries are is raised every time a tragedy occurs. Judicus Gay, Citizen at 1.
Moving on, non-performing county executive members in NAROK County have been put on notice that they risk being sacked and replaced if their performance is below par. NAROK Governor Samuel Tunai says he is closely working and monitoring the members in a bid to ensure they deliver as expected. The governor also sent a stern warning to health workers who operate private health facilities alongside their daily duties in the public hospitals and health centers. The county boss was speaking at a meeting with the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry members of Transmara Sub-County. He said he will not watch residents suffer due to poor services delivered by the executive committee members.
Ama namna gani? Mimi sitaki kusikia kuna maji, sitaki kusikia kuna shida ya umeme na mambo ya madawa wanamaliza. Sasa wewe unajua tunazungumza kila siku. Na sisi county tumecommit a lot of money. Dawa tunanunua, pesa tunalipa. Sasa hii dawa inaenda wapi? Mimi nataka kuwaeleza health workers ya kwamba kama unataka fanya biashara ya kufungua hospitali ama clinic, wewe ondoka. Wakati tumekuandika kazi, haukubali kwenda kufanya kazi nyingine. Kufungua hospitali yako ambaye unatoa dawa hapa unaenda kuweka kwa hospitali yako. Ya, na tuko na vijana wengi wanamaliza. Kwani nyinyi madaktari mbona mnanyamaza? Hiyo sikubali. Siwezi kubali daktari anasaa but this hospital na hapo na hospitali yake. You choose where to go. Resign and afanya huko. Wacha tuandike mtu. Kama wewe tumekuandika clinical officers ama daktari, hakuna kazi nyingine unafanya ni kufanya hiyo kazi tumekuandikia. Si namna hiyo? Yeah.
Come back to Nairobi County, and MATHARE constituency is in electoral mode as they gear up for the elections in that area. And we're now joined by Alex Kubasu, who is in MATHARE, just to give us a brief as to what is happening. A very good afternoon, Kubasu. What's the situation in MATHARE right now?
Yes, good afternoon, Mike. Yes, indeed, we are in MATHARE constituency, and we've just spoken to the returning officer here, Mr. Masindet, and he tells us that it's all systems go. They're actually training the presiding officers and deputy presiding officers, about 230 of them.
Yes.
And he says the process will be going on for the next 4 days. And MATHARE also, we expect that Code Coalition, led by its principal Raila Odinga, will be hitting the campaign here from any time from now to campaign for their candidate, one Stephen Kariuki. You remember on Sunday, the president was here to campaign for the Jubilee candidate, George Mike Wanjohi, who
Yes.
was actually the MP before Stephen successfully petitioned against the election. MATHARE constituency is one very populous area of about 88,148 voters, whom we expect to come and vote. Last election, there was about, it was actually a 78% voter turnout, an impressive number indeed. And this by-election, we expect to see whether the voter turnout would be higher or lesser, depending on how the campaigns are ongoing. And we shall keep you abreast of what is happening here in the campaign in our subsequent bulletins, Mike.
Well, before I let you go, Kubasu, yesterday we saw Goro Semelango, who also wanted to vie for the MATHARE seat. Is his presence felt there? Have you spoken to any person who's talking about Goro on ground?
Yeah, we haven't really heard of him, but we spoke to the presiding officer over his fate, because his case will actually come up just a day before the elections. And we asked him if he will have his name on the ballot in case the courts rules in his favor, and he says that they are well prepared to tackle such a situation. If the case goes in his favor, then he would essentially be put on the ballot, and in case it rules also that maybe an extension to give him a favor or maybe for him to campaign, the IEBC says they will oblige to that. But on the ground, we are yet to see his people, but I'm sure he could be somewhere doing something.
Well, thank you very much, Kubasu. Of course, we'll be joining Kubasu in our subsequent bulletins as he brings us up to speed as to what is happening in MATHARE. Remember, the by-elections are on the way, and as Kubasu tells us, the returning officers are saying it's all system go. Kiambu County Government has signed a memorandum of understanding with Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, an American agriculture company, to boost food security in the county. The 20 million project is set to start installation of 5 aquaponic facilities in the county. Speaking during the signing ceremony, the Deputy Governor Gerald Gedeji said the project will benefit the residents who heavily depend on agriculture as a source of living.
We have a lot of agricultural activity in Kiambu County, and we are looking for a research-based, innovation-based approach to agriculture to make sure that our productivity improves and to make sure that the farmers in Kiambu produce much.
Well, it is now 3 weeks since interested members of the public were invited to be part of a case against 43 commercial banks that has been ongoing for the last 11 years. The case filed by one Rose Florence Wanjiro has since attracted the attention of scores of borrowers who have emerged to tell harrowing stories of how their banks would revise interest rates on loans even 3 times a month. Belagenga met one such borrower, Michael Mwangi Getora, who is still reeling from the painful efforts of a bank loan he borrowed way back in 1994.
Michael Getora was a successful trader in the early 90s when he was advised by a friend to take a bank loan to expand his business. This sounded like a good idea to the ambitious marketer who was also putting up his first home at the time.
Yeah, the overdraft was 750,000 and the loan was 750,000. So a total of 1.5 million.
But Michael would soon thereafter encounter charges that his bank had hitherto not disclosed to him. One of the charges that baffled him to date was an inward check clearance fee, which varied from 1,500 shillings to 10,000 shillings for every check he banked during the tenure of the loan.
And in the month of May, they charged me another 10,000 shillings, claiming to be inward check clearance.
But that's not all. In another instance, the bank revised the interest rate charge on his loan 3 times in just 1 month, shifting the interest rate on his overdraft facility from 28% to 30% within a month.
With the effect from 20th November 1995. They just increase. Yeah, they just increase. They don't think you're a human being. They just increase the rates arbitrarily. They don't discuss with you, and then you are not prepared.
And as his export and import business went belly up, Michael was forced to sell off his property and even borrow money to stay financially afloat.
I have evidence of friends of mine who died and committed even suicide. Because you see, all your business empire is finished abruptly. I even was assisted by some of my friends because I couldn't make it.
Michael Mwange Gitura is among the numerous of Kenyans who want the banks persecuted for allegedly overcharging them in the past. And it would now appear that the sins of the banking sector in the past are now catching up with them. According to Gishuki Waigwa, the lawyer handling a class action suit against commercial banks and other lending institutions, at least 100 Kenyans have expressed interest in being enjoined to the case so far. The case was first instituted on 22nd July 2003 by Rose Florence Wanjiru, who's suing for compensation from Standard Chartered Bank and other lenders for charges imposed on bank customers in contravention of Section 44 of the Banking Act, which provides that no institution shall increase its rate of banking or other charges except with the prior approval of the Minister for Finance.
Most people who are coming here are inquiring regards the interest rates that banks charge for their mortgages and charges. And others have problems with their statements which have not been availed by their banks.
The case comes against the backdrop of recent attempts by the banking sector to infuse transparency into the pricing of their loans. Whether those measures will assuage the anger of individuals such as Michael, aggrieved by the past actions of their lenders, now remains to be seen. Bella Genga, Citizen Live at 1.
Well, thank you, Bella. Now, bhang is classified as an illicit drug in the country, and both traffickers and consumers risk up to 10 years in jail if convicted. But despite periodic crackdowns, trade in the drug, also known as cannabis, is blossoming largely because dealers have innovative, clever ways to fool authorities. In Kajiado, children as young as 5 years are being used as middlemen in trading bhang that is also disguised as ordinary cigarettes. Well, we were there in Kajiado, and this is the story. With a practiced eye, the young boy scans his environment, apparently to look out for trouble. And having ascertained the coast is clear, he expertly picks the precious cargo. A casual look at the scene hardly betrays anything amiss here. But like the boy's t-shirt perhaps innocently suggests, this exchange is potentially big trouble. What passes as an ordinary cigarette is something more potent and illegal. We are here in Majengo slums within Kajiado town, a fast-growing town in the outskirts of Nairobi. But the growth has come with many businesses, including illegal ones. We have gotten wind that bhang, commonly known as bangi, is traded here, and so we set our investigative cameras rolling. In Majengo, drug sellers rarely come out in the open. They prefer using young adults and children as young as 5 years. This young man is the main guy in this street. Clients craving for a fix come to him, relying on all manner of means. We train our cameras here for several days, and despite its clandestine nature, the trade is booming. This little boy is apparently a big player in the business. We gather that the cigarette is actually expertly rolled up bhang. Its street value is 30 shillings.
Hiyo misokoto kusokotwa inawekwa, kuna mapaketi mingi sana ya sportsman ambayo inawekwa ili mtu akija hata ukikutana na mtu nafikiri ni sportsman yako naye.
Then there is this type that is only rolled with a piece of paper and it's ready for use.
Hii moja ndio inaroro hiyo sigara, hiyo bangi na kuiuda kama sigara.
We have taken the precautions to alert the police given the sensitivity of the story, and the County Commander Samuel Kimwere and the area DCIO Daniel Musangi deploy their officers. The young man is arrested and his stock of trade well kept in his pockets. As the police ransack the house for more evidence, this woman, obviously unmoved by their presence and never mind her age, finds the solace to light and enjoy her joint. The boy's mother does not understand why the police are making a big fuss of what she calls just a job.
Na nimewaambia hata waizi wanaua watu sababu ya pesa kusudi familia zao zikae vizuri. Sasa bangi hata sisi wa kwanza. Wewe toka hapo wewe. Sio sisi wa kwanza.
We later learned that the young man is an 18-year-old who recently dropped out of Form 4 to concentrate on business.
Alikuletea stone ama mskoto?
Ni stone.
Alikuletea stone?
Stone mbili.
Stone mbili. So stone mbili unatoa msokoto kama ngapi?
Basi ninafungaka. Nani ufunga? Mabozo wengine na hayuko huko.
And he believes he has good reasons for being in the trade.
Ukishauza hii bangi unafanya nini na do?
Dosi ndo tunabaina food. Na hiyo ndo tunasave na pesa school fees.
So hii ndio unatumiaka kufanya school fees.
Na food hii tu ndio tulishaga. Hata ingeisha tu ni hivyo tu
As he's bundled up in the police vehicle, the reality that her son could end up in jail for up to 10 years dawns on her.
Naomba mniachie mtoto niende mimi.
Mbona unataka uende wewe?
Sababu mtoto anasoma.
Lakini mtoto ndiye amepatwa na bangi.
Sasa alishika kwa bahati mbaya, amebaki tu.
Bangi ni ya nani?
Alichukua ni yangu.
So unampatia auze?
Sikumpa, mimi sikuweko. Mimi nimetoka sel saa hii.
According to the residents that we spoke with, they tell us that the bank traders love using children because no one would suspect. But this is not the only joint where this kind of trade is thriving. Tomorrow we expose yet another bank den less than a kilometer from here. Michael Njenga, Citizen TV, Kajiado County. Indeed, Victor attended, and I will be bringing you a part 2 of that story where we busted more dens in that area. Nandi County Governor Cleophas Lagat has dismissed a report on illicit brew that killed over 15 people in the county. The report indicates that the results of laboratory analysis showed that the brew blamed for the deaths did not have poisonous contents. Elsewhere in the same county, youths and their leaders have launched a program to sensitize the young people against drug abuse. Evans Murray has that report.
Somebody who could be knowing.
While responding to the report on illicit brew released by the government chemist, Lagat claimed that alcoholic cartels were using corruption means to import and distribute lethal brews to the public. He said that the contents of the brew should be reanalyzed to ascertain the actual contents of the liquor.
Let them take the actual substance to go and test and give us the right results. Because that is the only way we can save our people. That's the only way we can save lives in this country.
In the same county, in what seems to be a step taken to rescue the next generation, youths have launched a program to sensitize pupils in various schools in the county on the dangers of drug abuse.
If we stop this kind of drugs, heroin, cocaine, MERU, and whichever the drug that is within the country of Kenya.
Led by the chairperson of the Youth Alliance of Kenya, Meshaki Mutai, the program is aimed at sensitizing the county residents on the dangers of consuming illicit brew and unlicensed liquor that have not been approved by the Kenya Bureau of Standards.
County governments to stand firm on drug abuse and also to ask our youth to shun drug abuse and to embrace the current opportunities that are available.
Evans Murray for Citizen Live at 1.
Indeed, you're watching Citizen Live at 1. We take a short break. We'll be right back with more news, including sports. Stay with us. Welcome back. A Samburu Moran has handed back 13 stolen cows to the Borana community. The cows were allegedly stolen a week ago, triggering tension between the two communities. They were also urged to graze peacefully in the available pasture. A member of the Samburu County Assembly, Benjamin Leitore, has appealed to two conflicting communities in Samburu County to embrace peace and desist from activities or utterances that could cause tension in the county. They were also urged to graze peacefully on the available pasture.
Warani walituonyesha nyayo na tukamfuata mahali naitwa El Tokoch. almost some kilometers na tuliweza kufaulu.
On the international scene, Israeli forces have today carried out 60 airstrikes in Gaza, destroying the only power plant and also targeting sites associated with Hamas, the group which controls Gaza. An Israeli aircraft fired a missile at the house of Hamas Gaza leadership Ismail Haniyeh in the Gaza Strip and flattened it, causing damage but no casualties, according to Gaza's interior ministry.
The attack, which came hours after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country needed to be prepared for a long conflict in the Palestinian enclave, has quashed any hopes of a swift end to 3 weeks of fighting. Gaza residents reported heavy Israel bombing in Gaza City. Residents said that 20 houses were destroyed during the night and 2 mosques were hit, with Al Amin Mosque heavily damaged. Hamas said that its broadcast outlets, Al-Aqsa TV and Al-Aqsa Radio, were also targeted. The television station continued to broadcast, but the radio station has gone silent. Over 1,000 Gazans, most of them civilians, have died in the attacks that began 3 weeks, while 53 Israel soldiers and another 3 civilians have been killed by Palestinian shelling. Both United States President Barack Obama and the United Nations Security Council have called for an immediate ceasefire to allow relief to reach Gaza's 1.8 million Palestinians, followed by negotiations on a more durable cessation of hostilities. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen Live at 1.
We'll take a short break. I'll be right back with the day's sports. Stay with us.